After completing our cover, we will mount our apparatus on our bag. We need to place this apparatus in our bag before sewing the cover. Now this will be the front part of our bag. Let's take out our apparatus. It has latches on the back like this. We can do it easily with our hands. I want this lock to come right to the bottom bracket. I place it neatly like this. Let's quickly install our equipment. After mounting our lock neatly on our bag, the back part remains here. Now we see more clearly where we will mount it on the back. If we place the lock in the front at this point, we can easily see how and where to place it. Now the bottom bracket part is visible here. We will join it from the point where the second row is, not the first row, that is the even point. This point is important for us. You can mark this point, but now let's pass our rope through this point. It is important to equalize from a space we find suitable. Let's pass the end of the rope through this point. We left a lot of thread here, now we will knit it together. This thread is important to us. Now after we get this point, this is our starting point. This point is too much. If you tighten it, it will not look good. Because this edge of the bag is not too narrow, let's pay attention to this. This point will be the starting part. We will start assembling by sliding it in a straight line, not from the first row, but from the second row. Let's open that part right now to the key point. Our rope will come from the bottom, sinking through the first gap. Let's pull this rope to the bottom. We need to pull this rope inwards from the first point where we started so that the rope... Let's assemble our bag by moving it from inside to outside. That is, by sliding it. We have taken the inner part of the rope here. We sink to that first point, and by sinking into the point we marked here, we remove the loop from the bottom and slide it from the loop we dipped into from our other loop. Next, we are sinking into the noose, and we will adjust these loops by eye. We dip into the next row, remove the stitch from this point and make another shift. We sink into the next stitch. This point is important for us. This was our starting point. There will be a line on the bottom bracket where the second row is located. Paying attention to this alignment, I look at this part like this. Let's dive right into the middle. We remove the loop and make the shift. When we come to this corner and end part, let's definitely check our bag from this inner part. Does the mounting stand properly? Otherwise, let's straighten this point by doing it back and forth. Let's continue in this part. I cut my rope here. I will remove it from my loop this way. And again to this last point where we sank. We will sink our hook and take this rope inside and travel this rope inside. In this way we knitted our bag with the help of crochet and fixed it at the back. Now we will hide the remaining short rope here and move on to making the handle of our bag. We are starting to make the handle of our bag. Here again, pulling the chain. We make our first chain a lock. We draw chains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Here you can pull this handle longer if you want. It's entirely up to your taste. It is also useful to measure this point. Rings will also come. Let's calculate it and look at it this way. It will not be nice if it is too long. After pulling our chain sufficiently, we leave the last chain and knit into the next chain. We continue knitting single crochet in each chain in this way until the end of the row. We knit single crochet in our last chain. We start knitting single crochet by slightly stretching our stitch and turning our knitting directly, sinking into the first space that comes up. Again we knit one single crochet into each space and continue until the end of the row. We have come to the end. We are sinking in our last space and knitting single crochet. Again we turn our knitting by slightly stretching our stitches and start knitting single needles by sinking into the first space that appears. Again we will knit one single crochet into each space and complete it until the end of the row. And so on. We will extend this point long enough. Afterwards we will continue knitting together. It was enough to knit this point in 4 rows. You can extend this further. For example, if your rope is thin, these 4 rows may not be enough. You can also complete 6 rows. Or you can knit more rows. Now I am knitting the last single crochet of my 4th row. Look, here's the first point where we started. After knitting 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, I slightly stretch the stitch here. Now I knit it like this. There is a flat piece. I double this piece. I will give it a shape like this right now. After knitting our last single crochet here, we will knit this stitch. Let's take it like this again. To the first chain point here. Let's remove the loop from this point and shift it. Then let's sink into the first space that comes to this point, to the side of the point that we doubled, and sink into the same space again. Remove the loop from this point and shift. Let's slide it by sinking into the next space and then sinking into the next chain on the opposite side. We sink into the next gap. We sink into the chain gap on the opposite side where we first started. Remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. We will create our handle by making 2 layers in this way. Now we sink into the gaps one by one so that they are equal. Now let's continue quickly to the end of the row. Here we sink to our last point, and by sinking into the last chain here, we remove the loop from this point and slide it from our other loop. At this point, we pull a chain and tighten this part to tighten our rope sufficiently. We will cut it and remove it from this point. Then we will hide the ends of these 2 threads inside. We will use a smaller numbered crochet hook for this. Look, our handle has already taken its shape. We can do it with our hands. When we straightened it, it turned out quite nice. As I said, it will come to this point like this. The length of this handle is completely up to your taste. You can adjust the length as you want, the width, etc. Now let's quickly hide these short strings. This is how we completed our handle. Now I will use 2 such spring rings. I'm going to put my stem through these spring loops first. I will mount it to my handle like this. This is how I put my spring rings. Now I will pass these rings through the lid part like this again. We have completed the handle part of our bag. This is the final look of our bag. If you wish, you can also add a longer handle to this bag. It was a very useful, very stylish and very beautiful model. I enjoyed it very much while working. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.